Well, it is I again. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday, and a belated happy Thanksgiving if I did not get a chance to say happy Thanksgiving to you before Thanksgiving. It is I, the alter ego of Dr. Whimsy, the Oracle of Whimsy, an accidental oracle, if you want to know the truth. And I'm here to entertain you for charity. Today, we are raising money for a wonderful charity. We try to do at least one charity drive a year for this organization. It is called Hope for Paws. Yes. Hope for those creatures that happen to have paws instead of hands with opposable thumbs that can open up the cat food can or the dog food, depending upon what type of furry creature you love. Anyway, so that is our charity. We raise it, like I said, for the charity about once a year if you decide to donate. And that's what's going on with me. I'm broadcasting live, yes, from somewhere in the heart of beautiful Portland, Oregon, the greatest city that ever was, in my humble opinion. Yes, in this incarnation, I have bounced into the Pacific Northwest. What can I tell you? I don't like hot weather. So, having said all of that, I would also say that we have one rule here on our Sunday brunches, and that is that we ask you all to be kind. Be kind to all so that all can be kind to you. That is the only rule with which we ask you to participate. So please don't use derogatory terms like repubs or libtards or anything like that. We are adults, and adults, we would like to think that adults are a little bit above all of that. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. So, yeah, we get together, exchange ideas, and this is kind of like a salon brunch. Yes, a salon where we respectfully want to hear everyone's opinions in the tradition of the intellectual salons of Europe. Yes, only it's a brunch salon. So, having said all of that, I'm going to turn the attention to you. Please tell me as we extend this table to the four corners of the earth in keeping with traditional Bedouin culture. Yes, we open the tent to all. Tell me where you're coming from. What you up to? What you having for breakfast, lunch, dinner, depending upon what you're having, and what part of the world you're in. Did you have a happy Thanksgiving? What are your goals in life? Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're coming from. And yeah, so let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. Let's start with the first people here. Melody Harmon. Hello. Thank you for helping out today. Much appreciation. And Dylan is in the house. Gratitude to you. Thank you for being a member, and Dylan. Equus 3333. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. Karen W is in the house, also a member. Much gratitude. Desiree Robato is here again, and she is helping us out. Much appreciation. Debbie K, good to see you as well. Marjorie Harrison. Asking about Jack Smith's bike accident. We can look at that a little bit later. I did not get the impression that it was anything other than a bike accident from when I went in. Thank you, Anonymous, for donating $20 to Hope for Paws. Wow, much appreciated. Geocosmic Valentine, the wonderful Geocosmic Valentine here. Great tarot great astrologer, excuse me, and remote viewer. Wonderful to see her here. K Travel Tarot, thank you for helping out today. Also a good friend. Much appreciation. Also, she has, I believe, a YouTube channel where she also does tarot. And Judith Juliet, what a beautiful name. Hello. Maura, hello. J Cat Lady, always making pretty pictures. Much appreciated. Tammy Osborne, hello. Pam C8KS is in California and she's having a great day. Dr. K, thank you for being a member. It's much appreciated. Connie Morris, thanks for the help. Gigi Pardo Lord, thank you for being a member. And thank you for those pretty little designs. Shivani Dumas, hello, hello. Great to see you as well. You didn't, nothing to eat? You're not having anything to eat? Oh, hi, Debbie Brady. I love Debbie. Thank you so much. Debbie keeps me on track. Much appreciation. Hi, Minnesota. Wildflower Wind from Minnesota. Great to see you here. Oakland, California is in the house. Oakland Cowgirl. Girl, are you from Oakland? Good to see you. All right. Well, somebody's having hot chocolate. Yummy. In Oakland, California. Yummy, yum. How's everybody holding up? We have a very strange remote view. I was meditating last night and I got the remote view and I thought, is that the remote view? But that's what we're supposed to be talking about. I trust the universe. If that's what we're supposed to be talking about, that's what we're supposed to be trying. He fell off his bike in Netherlands. Happens all the time. Everybody's on a bike in the Netherlands. Occasionally, drunk tourists fall into the water. It's rather silly. Oh, Miami, Florida. Hello, Sherry. So let's go ahead. I think we've got enough people here. We've got 274 people. I think we can go ahead and get started. What do y'all say? So we're going to do some HCRV. For people who don't know what HCRV is, it's called heart-centered remote viewing. It's a type of remote viewing where we attempt with empathy to connect to a subject, target, person, place, or thing. And from a place of empathy, we try to put ourselves in the shoes of that person, place, or thing so that we can deliver information or access information about thought forms, etc. Traditionally, earlier forms of heart-centered remote viewing can be found in the Bon tradition, Tantra. Some shamans do forms of ancient HCRV. Some have used certain plant medicines, for example, like ayahuasca, to remote view. But the basic idea is through empathy, we attempt to connect with others. So we're going to give you last night's meditation using HCRV. This is a global message. And the global message that we are facing at this time in human history has to do with issues of establishing boundaries with others. That is the spiritual lesson we're dealing with. So if somebody pushes into your boundaries, how do we deal with that? How do we address it? So what the theme is for us spiritually as a planet has to do with boundaries, acquiescing boundaries, particularly when we're dealing with sociopaths, cluster B, narcissism, and sociopaths. For people who don't know what cluster B is, it's a category of mental illness that's personality disorders. And so today, the spiritual lesson that we are dealing with as a planet is how do we deal with people who suffer from personality disorders? One of the things that we see with people who suffer from personality disorders is a lack of boundaries. And people who may struggle with knowing what appropriate boundaries are. This is something we see in what psychologists call anti-personality disorders, which is interesting because a lot of businesses in the United States and abroad are based on pushing an agenda on the person they're trying to sell to, right? We try to sell something to you. We don't take no for an answer. We keep pushing. So a lot of large businesses are based on sociopathic principles when you think about it. When I was doing the meditation last night and I was trying to connect with Gaia, which is the universal consciousness of the planet, I think of it as a mother, a type of conscious being, and human beings are an integral part of Gaia's complex system. When we study environmental medicine, we think about systems, how a system operates so that species will not go extinct, so that the planet can be in harmony and not be in a state of destruction. And as I was meditating on the earth, the Divine Mother, I felt this sense of anger and rage, not just towards those people who have been responsible for so much destruction, but I felt like I needed to call out therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, people who create laws, advocacy, human rights activists, etc. In the sense that anyone that's dealing with a narcissistic wound who has gone to therapy to deal with, maybe you've been abused by someone who crossed your boundaries. Maybe it can be a physical assault, a sexual assault. Maybe the person defrauded you and took your money or took your house. Anytime we deal with these types of assaults, they wound us and we lose something of ourselves, right? Whether it's we lose our homes, we lose our a sense of safety. There is a growing trend in psychology and psychotherapy that has suggested that survivors simply move on. Forget about it, live a happy life, don't talk to the abuser, just go be happy. And the best thing you can do if you're a victim of narcissism is to just do nothing and go live a happy life. And I felt like what I needed to say as the planet is that that apathy, that refusal to deal with these types of individuals is really kicking the can down the road. And we are currently in the situation that we are in right now on this planet because so many experts have told us to kick the can down the road and to suppress a natural part of our own humanity. And a natural part of our humanity is typified by the archetype, the Queen of Wands, who seeks justice absolute, and she carries a heavy staff, and she's there to fight for her territory. It's also the card I use for Ukraine because she has a sunflower, which is the symbol of the Ukraine. What happens when we kick the can down the road and decide to go be happy after we've been the victim of abuse is that we have basically given the problem to somebody else. We've sent the message to the abuser that there will be no consequences for their actions. And this will embolden the abuser to be even more aggressive the next time around. And so we have intellectualized ourselves into a situation where now the entire planet is being threatened by sociopaths that should have been dealt with a long time ago. And that is really what the remote viewing is about today. So 2023 is cleanup, and it's a calling out of therapists, lawyers, people who create laws, people who are in positions of power to please stop telling survivors to just move on and get over it. You are not helping. And the planet looks the way it does because of your advice. Part of recovery is that you have got to accept, I have to accept, we all have to accept the fact that there are people in this world that do bad things. And good people don't want to fight. But sometimes we have to fight. Criminals are hoping that you don't have the energy to fight with them. Just take my laptop. I'll get another one. Just steal from me. Just, okay, he beat me up, but I've moved on. And then the guy or the girl goes on and does worse things to the next person. So what we're seeing playing out right now which will be the theme of 2023 is that we all now have to clean up the damage from kicking the can down the road. The person we are learning this from is E.Jean Carrol. E.Jean Carrol is a successful writer in New York who was sexually assaulted. She was raped. She's claiming that she was raped by Donald Trump. Now, she is not the only person who has claimed sexual assault by Donald Trump, but you can be sure that a lot of people felt like they could not take on a powerful person who behaves like this. And so they decided to just take care of themselves, kick the can down the road. And as a consequence of doing nothing, E.Jean Carrol was assaulted. So by doing nothing when he was younger, by not adequately addressing his mental health problems when he was younger, it guaranteed multiple victims. And she is now, E.Jean Carrol, she's filed another suit against Donald Trump in the state of New York. It's the survivor's law. So I don't believe there's a statute of limitations. I believe that if you sexually assault someone in New York, you're probably going to be you can face the consequences of that for the rest of your life. And what we learned from E.Jean Carrol is that she will not back down. Is it pleasant for her? Is it fun for her? Is she having a good time? No, this is a nightmare for her. And yet she persists. She persists because if we don't fight back, if we don't deal with these types of individuals, their condition only becomes worse and the entire world becomes at risk. And that brings us to the current situation in Ukraine, which is, again, the same situation with Vladimir Putin showing criminal activity at a very early age, being a thug, people who were doing things they shouldn't have been doing in Russia. They were not adequately dealt with. And now we have no stopgaps when it comes to this individual having access to nuclear weapons, being able to construct a dirty bomb. The takeaway message here from Spirit is that there's a time for peace and there's a time for war. If you are in a situation where your physical safety is at risk, obviously you have to get away from it. And if you're not in any kind of mental state that you can handle taking on the abuser, that makes sense. You go and take care of yourself. Your number one priority is your safety. And if you can't handle dealing with this person directly, that should be also taken into consideration. But there are other ways that we can fight injustice, even if we can't take on our own abuser. Say you report it to the police, or say you did everything you could and you just don't feel safe to fight. There are other ways that we can fight. Protesting against apartheid in South Africa, for example, would be an example of people that took their pain and then they took it to the picket line. There are other ways that we can show the world that we are not going to tolerate injustice, even if we may not have the courage, safety, or resources to take on somebody who's putting us in harm's way. So that was the message. We will see this played out over and over and over again in 2023. Why didn't you report? Well, I reported and the police didn't want to file it because they were lazy. And this is something we see in Los Angeles, rape kits not being analyzed because who can be bothered, right? And letting rape kits in Texas expire. So people are having bake sales so that they can come up with the money because, again, the people in charge either don't care, don't take it seriously, or they themselves have a personality disorder. So the first message from Spirit is to it is unwise advice to tell someone to just go be happy if others are others' safety is at risk. So to the best of your ability, without putting your own, you don't want to put yourself at risk. We have to continue to fight the good fight and not forget that that these conditions only get worse. They don't get better, and that we are called sometimes to fight for justice, fight. It is an integral part of our humanity. This is what keeps us from going extinct. And if we forget this lesson, the lesson that our ancestors knew 200,000 years ago, together we live, separated we die. Anybody that tries to put themselves above you, make it out that they're better than you, trying to be a star so that others will be that's a personality disorder. We are a cohesive unit, humanity. We are one spirit, human beings. No one is better. No one is above the law. We are all equal. We are all the spirit of humanity. And consequently, we all have to be held accountable to the same actions. And by holding one another accountable that we be our best selves, we save the planet. And when we acquiesce and we give up more land and more land, we face tragedy. And that is where we find ourselves at the end of 2022, 2023. Revolutions happen. It all has to do with the same theme, taking land, and how are we going to come up collectively as a community to address this and deal with it so that we can survive. The next part of the remote, and this is the final part of the remote, is shadow work. And that is that we look at our own shadow, the parts of ourselves that we don't want to admit exist, our own narcissism, our own psychopathy, the ways in which we can get pulled into those dynamics, the way in which we have attempted to take advantage of others, do things we shouldn't have done. And this goes back to this idea that we do the deep meditation work, the self-examination, the purification work of being the best human being we can, because in the end, all we have is ourselves. So we will see this played out over and over again. We are now headed to The Hague. We've talked about this in previous remotes, that these crimes took place in international waters. We've talked about the fact that the feds, the FBI, could certainly contribute information to Interpol if they were looking for certain people. Conversations that took place between our intelligence agencies, MI6, etc. and how this eventually would make its way to the Hague. And we are now headed in that direction with Jack Smith. But the spiritual lesson for all of us during this somber time of 2023 that we're going to be entering into is, how can we hold ourselves all accountable to be the best we can be, to look at our shadow, to purify ourselves to the best of our ability, and not acquiesce to abusers. It's not enough to just walk away. It's not enough to walk away. Walking away is a terrible idea, uh, because in the end, they will take everything, and even that will not be enough. So, it's pretty controversial, but I think it's also the reason why people have problems with therapy. What do you mean, just walk away? Sometimes, yes, if you're immediately in danger. But if you fear that a certain individual is gonna put other people's lives at risk, or if a crime's been committed, etcetera, then yes, we must do everything in our power to create laws and to fight the good fight so that we live in a just world. All right, let's open the floor and talk about today's message. How do people feel about it? Yeah, so a lot of people are angry. A lot of people are angry at our intelligence agencies. Why didn't you tell us? Well, it was an ongoing investigation that started in 2010, right? 2010? You've been working on this since 2010? This is 12 years later, right? Um, a lot's gonna come out during the Hague trials, and it's an opportunity for all of us to examine our characters and to hold ourselves accountable to something better. And with that, I give you the floor. Geocosmic Valentine, it makes a lot of sense. Problem gets worse and inflicted on the rest of the world when it goes unchecked. Exactly. Yeah. And we all have, look, I'm not going to take over the world and cause a dirty bomb to go off, but sometimes my stuff, I'm an Aries, so it's all about ego, right? I always have to chant, right? I chant before I go online so that I can be part of the collective, because the truth of the matter is, it's I'm not supposed to be a star. We're supposed to be our best selves, right? How can I, when I do have the mic, we all get the mic sometime, right? Lift people up and give a great message, because we're a collective, right? We are we are one community, and I am responsible to the best of my ability to look at my shadow, be honest about it, forgive myself, but improve my character. And how can I give everybody else a great afternoon tea or and inspiration, etc. It's something that we are all called to, and we all share that. This is the thing. Who is going to The Hague? Well, we know that money was exchanged. We now have the cryptocurrency accounts. We know that Julian Assange is facing extradition to the United States. One of the people that I have called out is Adam Waldman. I'll talk a little bit about Adam Waldman, because this is the guy that gets away with everything. Adam Waldman is a foreign lobbyist who was working for Deripaska and Putin. He also met with Julian Assange at least 5 times that we know of. And he appears to be the person responsible for the online harassment of Hillary Clinton. So if you all remember how Hillary Clinton was treated on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, these crazy videos that were being made, what Adam Waldman was doing was he was taking money, dirty money from Russia. He was meeting on mega yachts with people who wanted Trump to win. And the money was going to shell corporations, and he was taking that money and he was paying people on social media to make videos claiming that Hillary Clinton was evil, fake documentaries, etc. All that money was funneled through foreign lobbyists, Adam Waldman, Roger Stone, etc. Hello, my love. And he was also paying to advertise those channels so that they wound up in your feed. So if you were watching YouTube, you would wind up with an anti-Hillary Clinton video. Hi. Whether you wanted to see it or not, because they were paying to shove these anti-Hillary propaganda on YouTube. All that money came from Adam Waldman. He also hired certain people that have channels, and those channels exist to be paid by foreign lobbyists to create fake information. So it was a constant barrage of harassment through social media, fake videos, etc., advertised, shoved in your face, and it looked like it was hundreds of people, but it was all just one person, Adam Waldman, paying dozens of different channels to produce propaganda. So he's the main guy. He's even more the main guy than Roger Stone and all these other people. He's the guy, Where's Waldo, that always slips through and you never know where he's at, and he's always behind these propaganda wars. And he's the guy that pays all these different people to produce stuff. Well, one of the people that he's done business with was Dan Abrams, etc. But again, the money comes from foreign accounts. And so it's another example of how we can get pulled into the psychosis. And now we're at a point where we have to clean it up. We have to become intelligent consumers. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in The Hague. Adam Waldman, of course, is the person that was introduced by one of Ben Salman's cousins. Ben Salman's cousin, I can't remember what his name was. He invited Johnny Depp onto his mega yacht, and that is where he was introduced to Adam Waldman. And then through money from Dubai, they created the propaganda war on YouTube with Amber Heard. So that's now public information. I mean, all you have to do is Google Adam Waldman, Deripaska, Putin. But the point is this. The point is that these people didn't go to prison. They didn't get arrested. They didn't get extradited. They're not in front of the Hague. So it's going to be interesting to see just how deep the investigation goes, who gets prosecuted, and what the next couple of years are going to look like, because now is the time of reckoning, right? We spent 10 years doing the accounting, and now we have to do the reckoning, the taking of the mega yachts, the looking at the electronics, the finding of those, the finding of all those documents. Now we're seeing the yachts being confiscated, MI6 going on to these yachts, trying to find visitors' logs, trying to find how the money was transferred. All of that has to be tried in The Hague. When I first found the Adam Waldman thing, people thought I was crazy, but my job is to deliver the remote. And I found the same signature with Hillary Clinton that I found with Amber Heard. And that's how I located the propaganda. And from there, then I found the articles, etc. Now it's public information. You just Google it and all the information is there. All right, but the point is that now we're entering the time of the reckoning. Okay, so I want to do a community read. We have finished with the Hague, etc. You see, I was good. I kept us on track. And now we're going to go ahead and do the community reading. Would y'all like that? Thank you, Anonymous, for that $20 donation to Hope for Pause. If you would like to, if you like what I'm doing here and you support the channel, please consider being a member or donating to one of the charities that we support. It would mean a lot to me, and I know that it would mean a lot to our four-legged friends. Yes, I'm sure that they would be very appreciative. Okay, so I have the order from one of our moderators, Geocosmic Valentine, to do the community prayer and community read. Why don't we go ahead together now, and we're going to do the Empath's prayer. I know that many of you know the Empath's prayer, so the more of us that can say it, the more we can collectively create it. Does that sound good for you all? Yes, all the money goes to YouTube does not collect a fee. 100% will go to Hope for Pause. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Let's see what Spirit wants us to know. Thank you, Tamara Rose. I really appreciate that donation for Hope for Pause. Thank you, Miss Brazil and Anonymous, for those wonderful donations. All right, so here is today's reading for you and the collective. If some of this speaks to you, there are messages. I ask Spirit when I pray that messages be delivered collectively, but that private messages be sent to the people who need to receive them at this time. The first thing that Spirit is saying to you is that now is the time that the clouds have cleared for you, and now is the time that your judgment is clear. Be aware of your daily habits and how your daily habits can impact your judgment, because now is the time for you to have clear judgment. Watch your sodium. It can make you nervous. Watch your caffeine and your chocolate and your sugar and your watching those Netflix, those robo-watching, whatever it's called, binge watching. Be mindful of daily habits, because your simple daily habits can impact your mind and your judgment. Find a discipline, a meditation or chanting discipline. I'm with SGI myself, but find out a system that can help your mind to get clear, because now is the time of clear judgment. Watch what you put in your mouth, watch what you put in your lungs, the drinking, etc. Whatever it is, now is the time for you to be clear in your judgment. We are called to be clear. Before we can call anybody else out, we need to get ourselves clear. Clear mind, clear judgment. Some of y'all have high sodium. Some of you are going to be traveling. There's a lot. Oh, hello. Some of you are going to be traveling. There's a lot of movement. So now is a time where we are going to be connecting and communicating and reaching out with people who may be totally different than ourselves. Be open, be receptive, but understand that you carry your integrity, your clear heart, your awareness of what your ethics are and values are anywhere you go. It's kind of like what my mother used to say, I'm here, but when you go outside, like your mother's watching you. It's great advice for a kid, right? I'm watching. My mother was psychic anyway, so she would have known, right? But I'm seeing opportunities for travel for many of you. You have a good heart, and your desire is to make the world a better place, to love and love and love, but understand that your priority is first yourself, and that you must take care of your physical and mental and spiritual self to the best of your ability, but you have come here to serve. Be aware, though, that this card also has a justice symbol in it. There are times to say yes, and there are times to say no. Again, the messages from Spirit are about boundaries. If you put yourself out there in the next couple of months with a clear and non-apologetic idea of who you are, your principles and values, what you need from a partner, then you could be in a romantic situation in the next couple of months. You could be finding love. If you're not looking for love, then the next couple of months will be an opportunity for you to heal old wounds. You're older and wiser, and so are the people you may have had conflicts with in the past. And so now may be a wonderful opportunity for mutual forgiveness and reconciliation. Love exists even when we are wounded, but now may be an opportunity to heal those wounds. Many of you are starting to channel higher forces, higher wisdom, and some of you are gifted as writers. Some of this writing will come to you from higher sources and higher purposes, and some of you are channeling higher beings, spirits, etc. And these truths are being revealed to you through your meditations, writings, and through the expression of your work. I'm seeing sleep disturbances for many of you. So again, watch pharmaceuticals, watch anything that could be having an impact on your emotional well-being and on your sleep patterns. In the past, there was indecision and fear. Maybe you felt like the world expected too much from you and it left you confused and frazzled. Pull back from the world and instead look at what being of good character is to you. Do what you can to improve your character and come away from this confusion and conflict. There is no conflict if you are being true to yourself and true to your own values and ethics. You're heading into a period that's extremely productive and successful over the next 6 months. You are moving away from indecision as you go closer and closer to an authentic expression of yourself. And I'm seeing higher learning and higher education as well for many of you. Learn to let the things go that do not serve you. That's very different than letting people go and not holding them accountable. Be aware of unresolved grief, that there's grief here that needs to be resolved. She agrees with me. And comforting yourself and letting yourself experience that grief would be good for you at this time. There's a warning about any kind of medication, drugs, alcohol, but also entertainment that causes mental confusion. I'm concerned about sleep in this group because we have a final outcome, which is moon. and it could be associated with inappropriate or poor sleep patterns. So protect your sleep and make sure you have good sleep hygiene. Watch again, pharmaceuticals. This is a time of truth for you, and you are a truth seeker. Other people around you sometimes are threatened when you call them out on truth, and this can create a lot of defensiveness and heartbreak, but it should not deter you from living your truth. A new beginning awaits for you. You'll have a very successful 6 months if you're true to yourself and you work on your own character and cleaning up your own health, and a new beginning awaits. That's what I see for the group for this week. I hope I gave you some clarity. Mila does not want to be fed. She's got plenty of food in her food bowl. She can just go eat it. She wants attention. All right. I hope that collective reading. Oh, going to Cabo. Very nice. Scandinavia in the summer. I will be leaving for Tokyo on Thursday. There will be a remote viewing class. I'm so excited about our 8th class because we're going to be talking about dimensions and entities and worlds, how you enter into different worlds and different vibrations. So we're getting into some down and dirty in class on Tuesday. Please, if you are a healer and an empath, please come on Tuesday. It's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to talk about dimensions, worlds, and the multiverse. Yeah. And how we can change the past. It's crazy. We're getting some crazy, wild stuff. Actually, she looks really tired. I don't think she's been sleeping well because I guess she did not like being babysat, even though she was spoiled. But I think that you know how she is. I love her to death. But yeah. So I hope that gave you some clarity. I mean, I know my weakness. My weakness is dairy. I've decided to let myself I just can't give it up. I just accept it. I'm not going to do high fat. I'm going to do low fat, but I can't. I'm British. I can't. I've decided to be 90% plant-based, but a little fish and a little dairy occasionally. That is where I'm holding right now. Total vegan, I'm just not ready. But I've gotten far. I'm off meat, which I think is huge. But so, we always try to be a little bit better. Me also, I struggle with sugar. Sugar is a big one with me. Yeah. All right. So whenever people are ready, we can go ahead and do the blitz, blitz, blitz away. I'm hoping that y'all got a benefit from that. I felt like Spirit was kind of mad at us when I did my remote. It's like, the world is screwed up because you made it screwed up by not doing anything. It's like, oh my gosh. That almost sounds like Miss Mabel. I was like, oh. Oh, I've got an order. Blitz, blitz, blitz away. Absolutely. Okay, so we had some questions, and I am the person to give you the answer, right? All right, so I'm going to blitz, blitz, blitz away for you all. Whatever questions you have about what's going on politically, etc., I would love to answer it for you. Ooh, I'm seeing turkey and sausage gumbo, Mel Broussard. Yummy, yum, yum. Waffles. Sweet potato waffles in New York. Maple syrup. Michelle, you're my girl. You guys are having some great brunches. Oh my goodness. Tom Viola, please contact me. By the way, I want to give gratitude to the benefactors, those people, they pay $99 a month. They have all the videos. You can see all the videos, private groups, but they also get a free consultation once a month with me. And you get to pick the time, which is really kind of cool. So gratitude to Tom Viola, Linda R., Mary, I can't remember. Mary something. Mary, thank you. I met with Mary. But yes, if you are a benefactor and you want to schedule your monthly hangout, reading, consultation, I'm there for you. Please email me or text me at 323-762-3982. Oh, you love my scarf. Thank you so much. It's $10. Yeah, I got it for $10 on the boardwalk in I had to go to a conference in Palm Springs, and you know me, I try to stay frugal. All right, so we have a question here, Karen W. Thanks for the question, Karen. It seems like a lot of you all want to know about Jack Smith, and if I could get information on him, I would love to. Let's take a look. I'm all about minimalism so I can travel. Like I never bought property. I just have a studio. I do save. And I live on mostly beans and rice, and I take the bus. And then I just travel. But in Tokyo, I'm staying at a capsule hotel. It's $28 a night. I'm going in December, so I'm not paying as much for the airfare. So you go off season. On the weekends, if you're staying at a hotel, and the trick is to stay at a capsule or a hostel or as cheap as possible because the expensive prices are on the weekends. So I'm arriving Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday at a capsule hotel. Then I think I'm going to go to Osaka, Kobe, etc. And then in the weekdays, like Monday, Tuesday, when it's cheap, then you can see if you can get a nice place for little money. And then when the weekend comes, you go back to the capsule. And that's how you can do like an international trip for 2,000 or something like that. So there's little tricks you can do to save. If you're like, a lot of people don't like to travel, but I really like to travel. You know, whatever makes you happy. But it's a lot cheaper than people realize. And then because I don't have a car, etc., I take the extra money and I put it towards my travel. You can do it if that's what you want to do. Jack Smith. I think that they should be very afraid. This is my message for people wanting to know. People who do bad things should be very afraid of Jack Smith. First off, he's traveling and he's personally going to be interviewing and speaking to people who are witnesses for January 6th. But again, we remind people who've been with the channel for a while that this investigation into dark money goes back to 2010. He's traveling and he's interviewing people, and he's actually there when some of these high profile people are giving their depositions. He's on the road. I think that the people he's prosecuting and the people that have cooperated are, it's the end of the road for them, and they know it. It's the end of the road. You know, 5 of Pentacles is to be locked out of the church. It's to be locked out of the church. Michaela Antoinette? Okay, I'll deal with her after I do this reading. So the people that he's dealing with already know it's over. I really feel like they waited for prosecution. They waited for this to happen until the main people that were responsible for handing money. They have so much evidence now that it's almost like a done case, particularly if the people he's in opposition with have a 5 of Pentacles, because that would indicate that they know their situation. They know they're out in the cold. They know it's over. They know they've been caught. They've been caught with the cookie in their hand and their face has got chocolate chip all over it. They know they've been caught. Kiss, kiss. Kiss, kiss. And what the hope and the fear is for them, the investigation. It's pretty much over. The only thing that's going on here is, it's actually so easy for Jack Smith because he went into an investigation where it was already over. The people were already giving their depositions. They were already showing how the money was transferred. They were already showing how the whole scam worked. And so he's almost like a mediator in a sense. It's a very easy case for him. He does not present as violent. He presents as King of Cups. It's a very laid back king who just smooths the waters and everything is cool. And the groundwork is already laid for him. Yeah, he's traveling to the Hague again. But he shows up and it's already done. Regarding the people, some people are going to go to prison and never cooperate. Look at this, 4 cups. There's the judgment coming down on them from the investigation. This guy waltzes in. I mean, I think the thing that's so incredible about Jack Smith's energy is that he isn't stressed at all. He just kind of waltzes in. It's very obvious what happened. They've got more than enough proof. They're out in the cold. They're being stubborn. We're going to die for our beliefs if that's what you want to do. He waltzes in, knight on the white horse. But this is not an angry, aggressive, violent person. This is a very smooth, rides his bicycle. I mean, in a way, he kind of reminds me of Robert Mueller in the sense that this is not somebody who's getting stressed out. The facts are the facts. We have the facts. If you want to die in prison like some Nazis did after the Nuremberg trial, then you will just die in prison. I refuse to back. I believe in. Okay. Then you have made your choice, and that is where you will die. He comes in offering deals. If you don't want to cooperate, you don't have to. But they pretty much have enough information at this time to convict everybody. And as far as the international courts, the feds, et cetera, are concerned, the case has already been proven, which is not what I expected to find when I went in. I thought that there was still a ton more investigation. But again, this goes back to the idea that the investigation has gone on for quite some time. And we're talking about the cryptocurrency problem has gone on for quite some time, and they already have enough information to convict. People can choose to try and make it less hellish for them, but if they don't, so be it. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about. Thank you, by the way, for that question. Karen W., some of you may know that the foreign minister of Belarus, yes, Mila, hi. You ready to get locked up? You want to be locked up, or are you going to come up here? Which is it? You want to be locked up? I don't think she does. All right, please talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to deal with my cat so that she doesn't bother us anymore. I apologize. Mila, you want to go? Okay. Thank you for your patience. I apologize. So here's the thing that's going on. He died suddenly. He was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was supposed to be meeting with Lavrov. Lavrov's been trying to, from what we were able to find out, he's trying to retire. He's not doing well. The question is, was the Minister of Foreign Affairs murdered? Was he poisoned? Was he not wanting Belarus to be the place where a new invasion was going to happen? We've talked about the fact that Belarus could be a location for Russian fighters to come in, and concerns about the eastern quarter, the southeastern quarter being vulnerable, the border with Belarus being vulnerable. If the foreign affairs minister had a problem with this idea, was that why he was killed? Was that why he was taken out? Or did he just die of a heart attack? Let's find out. Well, we don't know if he was killed. We don't know if he died. We don't know what happened. The information coming out was that he died suddenly. The concern from Ukraine is that they could be stationing pro-Russian military in Belarus for a future attack. They would probably be using foreign fighters out of Central Asia. Yeah, they didn't want to be in the middle of it. They did not understand. First off, there's what you feel when you go into the Belarus foreign minister's energy is this fear that that Belarus is being pressured to get into the war and they don't want to. That's how I feel. I fear for my safety. I fear that Russia is taking over Belarus. I feel afraid that they are manipulating us and conning us into a situation we won't be able to get out of. This is him attempting to meet with Lavrov. There's some idea being hammered out, possibly for future military, but there's something that's being, they had to get rid of him. I think that he could have been taken out. He was very confused about what they wanted from him and what they were trying to achieve. And it's an issue of, I don't think that Belarus can, even if Belarus tried to extract itself from Russia, it would be very, very difficult. It's an issue of economic stability. So he was critical. He thought it was foolish. He was opposed to getting involved, and that may have been what led to his assassination, and he was possibly poisoned. Took a trip, foolish. Archangel Michael, the sword, it can also be a war or spy card. There was some spying involved. Confusion is around him, maybe drinking or alcohol, and then a card that has to do with refusing a drink or something like that. He was opposed to, it looks like he was opposed to them setting up military chariot to move. Remember, I had seen a vision of an attack from the east and that area was vulnerable. And then I had seen potentially Russia bringing in foreign fighters, possibly from Central Asia. So it looks like Belarus is being forced into a situation that they didn't want to participate in, and that that Russia may have assassinated their foreign minister because of his objections. That's what it looks like. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Pretty scary, huh? Yeah, very, very scary. And it goes back again to the theme today, which is boundaries. Boundaries. Give them an inch, they take a mile. Like Belarus trying to have a good relationship, the president of Belarus with Putin. And now more. We want more. We want to station troops there. We want to invade from Belarus. We want your resources to help us do it. And if you don't do it, we're going to start assassinating people in your. So it becomes more and more. And the more you give, the more they try to take. If you give to somebody with a personality disorder, then they see what else they can take. And then they want more and more and more. So it never ends. And that's the situation that Belarus finds itself in. All right, let's take a look at Putin's health. Hi, Joel. Good to see you. And thanks again to everyone who has donated to Hope for Pause. How's Putin's health? I see people close to Putin being arrested and charged in The Hague, and he wants his spies back. He wants his spies back. He wants his informants back. And there's something here about him trying to negotiate to get a release of people that are currently facing prosecution in The Hague. He feels a loyalty to get them back, but to be honest with you, he may even he gets them back and then he kills them because he doesn't want them to testify. I feel like he's stable. So if he's getting something like immunotherapy, multiple myeloma, it's not he can live longer than they used to, but he has this kind of assistance or help with his health right now with the 3 of Cups. What he dreads is The Hague, the sword of truth, spies, in the judgment, the emperor has his spies. Spies talking, spies working, the ethics of it. He wants his spies back. They're headed to the courts. He's out in the cold. He becomes increasingly delusional. He becomes increasingly isolated, Putin, and increasingly delusional. It becomes apparent to many in Russia that all he cares about is his money and his financial investments at the expense of the Russian people. Delusional, he rubs his lamp. The people are suffering, and they feel like he's having his cocktails in his mansion, and he doesn't care. He wants to win. He wants to control his assets. It's becoming increasingly a problem for the people of Russia. I feel he's going to be removed. Thank you, Anonymous, for that $20 donation. It's very sweet of you. All right, this is something I do want to talk about. Thank you, Angela, for this question. Gentle core. I bet you do have a gentle core. We talked a lot about China in the last couple months, and we've talked a lot about the fact that China's economy must collapse, that this is something that we've seen in previous remotes. There are a number of reasons why it happened. They overextended their borders. This cost a lot of money to maintain that kind of economic expansion. They relied heavily on the money they were making from sales to the West. They also invested heavily in the international housing market, and unfortunately, their own housing market was collapsing. So we talked about the fact that they would have to divest from the West, which, if you combine that with the rise in interest rates in the United States, would cause a decline in the housing market. Not necessarily a collapse, but a huge decline in the housing market. We're now seeing protest happening in China. And so, as a consequence of that, did I say Russia before? China divested. China divested. And so now we have people protesting in China for a number of reasons. They've been in a lockdown since COVID began. People are starving. The economy is collapsing. The money they gave the banks for the condos and apartments to be built have left their apartments incomplete, and many are calling for Xi to be removed. He centralized his power. He removed Hu, who was the former party, which was much more open to creativity, also a little bit more tolerant in terms of letting people be more vocal. So we're seeing a kind of restriction happening under Xi, and we're also seeing an economic collapse under Xi. So let's see about the future in China and the protest. Is everybody having fun? The person that's having the waffles, could you throw a couple of those my way? Thank you. Appreciate it. Love a good waffle. Probably by his military, Joel. It's probably the military leadership that will remove Putin. I feel sorry for Belarus. Talk about like the madman. No, we're going to use your property to invade, and we're going to put a dirty bomb. And see, if they're making a dirty bomb and they're afraid of the wind blowing east, then you make the dirty bomb and you detonate it somewhere else. That's the concern. Aw, Geocosmic, you having a great time? I'm so happy. Ooh, sweet potato waffle. Oh my gosh. I bet it's vegan. Oh my God, so yummy. Oof. They say that they plan on clamping down. China plans on clamping down on the protest as soon as possible. They want this over. Boom. They anticipate that this will end soon. What the people want. They want the money that the bank has stolen from them back. Our money was stolen by the government. They're tired also of workers' rights violations. They want the workers' right. This was supposed to be a country that protected the workers, and instead it's become a new slave economy. This is slavery or carrying heavy loads. They're promising that smoother waters prevail in China. Let's get a clarification. They're saying that they can open up the economy, improve things by spring of 2023. Regarding the money the people lost, they're going to have to work out some kind of negotiation, but some people have been killed and arrested. It had to do with China doing business with corrupt enterprises and members of China's elite possibly being bribed. People are very angry. They feel exploited. They feel used. They feel like this has become a new dynasty. They keep saying the same thing. The situation will improve by April of 2023. And the final clarification, I'll do one more. The people want the thieves arrested, and in order to get the people to stop protesting, she has promised public trials for theft. And so he will attempt to create peace in China by negotiating with the people. And he comes with the King of Cups over the issue of arrest of theft because people feel like their stuff has been stolen. Here's an Ace of Cups. And rejoice. So the people are going to win in some respect. They're going to have to acquiesce to the people with a King of Cups, and a Three of Cups is the outcome. So to some extent, the people's demands will be met. Things improve by April. So the protest work to some extent. I don't know anything about sheep walking in a circle for 12 straight days in China. I wouldn't be able to respond on that. That sounds crazy, though. Circle? That's bizarre. All right. Please read on circling sheep. What is this circling sheep? I'll read on it, but I don't know what it is. A bunch of sheep are going in a circle for 12 days. Okay. I don't know anything about it. There's something here about confusion about property. So could it be that something's going on where they're not allowed to move? It looks like it could be something regarding an economic collapse. Constant movement, Knight of Wands, and then a crash. Something about business and economic collapse. It has something to, I know that sheep take a lot of resources and they require a lot of water and a lot of grass. So the constant movement has something to do with the economic collapse. And it could be a loss of resources. You can see here money and collapse. And something about a legal situation, not Queen of Swords, and a judgment and confusion. Who owns the sheep? Where can they graze legally? Food, water, resources are scarce. Some of this seems to be what it's about. It could be loss of resources, and it could be also that it's being encouraged because of land issues in China and the fact that they have limited food resources, water, etc. Okay, so it might have an environmental aspect. Citizens United. Let's take a look at Citizens United. Are we united as citizens? Takes so long. I mean, when you think about the prosecutions, 2010, they were looking into corrupt money. I mean, that's crazy. Citizens United, also the Supreme Court. I mean, I used to love Dan Abrams. And then when he started that court TV and took Adam Waldman's money and from the guy from Dubai, and it's like, why do you hate women so much? It's like, that was what I thought when I saw what Dan Abrams was doing. Like, how could you have done this? You of all people, you used to be a nice guy, didn't you? I mean, you went cray cray. Citizens United. Well, Biden is not directly involved. He is not going to touch it. It has to do with a legal issue and an investigation that's directly impacting the Supreme Court. He is being told about the investigation, but he's not personally involved. And it's really a criminal investigation, and it heavily involves our courts. And there's a question about what we can legally do now that we know that members of our courts have been bribed with foreign money. You can see here's Biden. He's not directly involved, but look, the experts are right over him. So he's getting briefed. This is a court case or investigation, Ace of Swords with Magician. So I think it's definitely being handled, but dang, the lawmakers are making it legal to be criminals. Queen of Wands again, she will not be ignored, and the Karma card. But look at this fighting and confusion about how to handle it. What do you do when your Supreme Court's been compromised? There doesn't appear to be any clear idea about how it gets resolved. It's destroying the country and it's destroying the courts. And the fact that it becomes more and more public is in and of itself sanitation. But I do see increased pressure on Congress and on the government to weed out corruption because it's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse if we don't address it. So sanitation, the more people know, the more they will demand. So public sanitation, letting people see it publicly is the best thing we can do to end Citizens United. That's what they're saying. All right, I think we're going to do one quick one. We've been here about an hour and a half. If you haven't had a chance to share or like, that would mean a lot to me. Also, please consider supporting Hope for Pause. They're a great organization. 100% of the money raised goes directly to them. Is there anything else I need to say? Yes, I'm leaving for Tokyo on Thursday. I'm very excited. I'll take plenty of pictures for you all. I will still be doing Wizio. I will have work days there. So if you need a 5-minute quick reading, I won't be able to talk to you directly, but I can send you a 5-minute video, and the Wizio information is below this video, and I can get back to you that way. All right, we're looking at the Supreme Court, and are we going to see another person on the Supreme Court? I had a dream last night that Trump decided to run in 2024, but he got kicked out of the Republican Party. So he decided to start his own right-wing Trump party, and it split the Republicans. So some Republicans stayed with the Republican Party, but like 15, 20% joined the Trump party. And what it did was it completely collapsed the Republican Party and gave us another 4 years of Democrats in control. So I thought, wow, it almost makes me not want to see Trump arrested so that he can destroy the I mean, I don't want to destroy the Republican Party, but it would be great if he could divide the vote, Vulcan there, divide the vote, and then give us 4 more years of Biden-Harris. What do you say? Yeah, and it would do more to get more Democrats in Congress, more Democrats in Senate, because they would all go over and join the Trump party, which would drop the Republican vote by 15%. Say they get 33% of the vote, Trump people get like 7, 10%, and then the Dems get 48, then we can win everything if he starts his own party. Good idea? Yes, no? Or would you rather see him in prison? I'll let you decide. Okay, are we going to get another person on the Supreme Court? I'm so excited. Murkowski has said that she will vote for another person, so that's good. So we got Murkowski, we got 51. We just have to get rid of the gerrymandering and the not the gerrymandering, the what is it when you have to have 60 people for the vote? We just need 51. Are we going to get another person? That's the question on the Supreme Court. It's looking like we will. Wow. They're saying that Amy Coney Barrett might not have a long future on the court. That surprises me. Yeah, victory. Within 6 months, we're looking at a replacement. It moves forward. 6 of Pentacles, justice. Hopes and fears that there could be attempts to block it with temperance. And then the final outcome, another person moving in, the heavy load, lovers reaching across the aisle. We will get some Republicans to vote yes on the new Supreme Court judge. I keep seeing a Latino man or Native American as the new, and he appears to have been in the military at one point, possibly a military prosecutor or judge, because I always see him in military clothes. And he's Latino. So I believe that that's the next Supreme Court judge. Well, this was fun. I hope you all had a good time. I know I did. Thank you, Christine Valenzuela, for the $10 donation to Hope for Pause. I know that our four-legged friends appreciate you. Has everybody had a chance to watch the Hope for Pause videos on YouTube? They're really uplifting to see how they help the animals. It's really lovely. All right, again, if you're trying to get in for a reading, I am available for readings. I have openings Tuesday and Wednesday. Also, I'll be back in two weeks after that from Japan. If you need to get just a mini video reading, I think there's something like $25 for a 5-minute quick question, and those can be sent through Wizio. Thanks again to Geocosmic Valentine, Debbie, Brady, Extraordinaire, Joyce Pietras, Kay, thank you, Kay Travel. Did I forget anybody who has helped today? I want to just show gratitude to anyone that I have not, who has helped out today. I just appreciate you all. I'm so grateful that we can spend time together here on Sundays. I know that you take time out of your day to be with me, and it just brings me great joy to do this with you, and I hope we can continue to do it for many years to come. All right. Be well, stay safe, everyone. Please support the other readers if you can. And I will see you for class on Tuesday, where we talk about entering different worlds and dimensions. Yes, we're going to take it to the next level. All right. Be well, everyone. Bye-bye.